How's it, guys? Okay, I'm back with the review of the Velodyne DB12. So I tested it properly. I'm gonna just talk a bit about the subs. I got both here. I'll point the camera towards the subs when I start testing and show you a few things. And I know what's going on, which is not a bad thing. It is something that's very common on higher end subwoofers and especially sealed subs. So before we get into it, let me try and explain to you the difference between a ported sub and a sealed sub. Besides the obvious that one has a port and one does not, there's normally two things that you do. Many people will tell you a ported sub is for movies, although it can be calibrated to sound very good with music, and a sealed sub is for music, although it can also be calibrated for movies. Both of them have pros and cons. A ported sub can normally give more output than a sealed sub would because it can push more air with that port, but it is slower to respond. So by slow, I mean you'll hear people say quick bass, agile bass, fast bass, stuff like that. So to put it in layman's terms, I use a few songs when I test bass. As of recently, some of Billie Eilish's songs, although I don't like the distortion that she adds into her mixes, the bass is some of them are very low bass sounds, and low bass sounds take longer to come to a standstill. So let's say there's a quick, fast bass hit. When a woofer hits, and as quick as it can come to a standstill, that is a fast bass. So on Billie's songs, she'll have slow, low down bass, and then she'll have quick bass beats in between that. So it's very hard for a woofer to do that, to have a low down, slow bass, and then go into a quick beat. And that is what you call a quick bass. And that's one thing where the Velodyne for me is phenomenal. It's flippin' phenomenal. I actually sit and I watched this thing, how quickly it can change notes and stop to a dead stop. It's like watching a hypercar brake from 120 to 0. It's just mind-bogglingly fast. And then normally the drawback on a sub like that will be, it can be fast, but it can't reach down low. That's where the ported sub comes in again. It can reach down low, but it can't be fast. Granted, some subs are different, some of them are better, SVS being a prime example, but still I don't find their subs being musical. So SVS I would sell for people in home theaters, even their sealed subs, and I'll get to that next point soon. So tested this on music, like I said, phenomenal. It is as good as the 15, and I actually have to switch over to the 15 to hear the difference. And the 15 is just more. It's more. You feel it more. It's more. It's a 15-inch, but the 12-inch is every bit as good. So let's get to the drawback of a sealed enclosure. Because you are not moving air through a port, the air is trapped inside the box, and it causes like an explosion of sorts. So that is also what makes the sub slow down so quickly, because there's air inside the box. But when you reach down low, it bottoms out. This doesn't bottom out. I'll explain why in a minute. But oh, there goes this stand. I'll sit still. So what happens is it reaches down to a certain frequency. And it does. These things hit low. I can't believe how low this hits for a sealed sub. But what happens? If you go up into the volume, not everyone's going to listen at this volume. I don't. I did it for this test because Johan mentioned to me that the other reviewer said it happens at insane high volumes. So I wanted to test it. And it does. So what happens is the sub has internal DSP, the same as an SVS. So what that is, as the volume goes up, you get like the house curve. Then you'll get to the point, if it's down low or if it's down high, subs will be down low. You'll get to a certain point where the sub can't handle anymore, and it will level out. So even as the volume goes up, it will just stay there. So they are good to a certain volume. That being said, if I did not know about this, I would not have pushed it to there. I normally listen to my music. I go according to decibels on my receivers or my integrateds. So they go down. Minus 50, minus 20, minus 10, 0 being reference volume. You are a complete nut job if you go over 0 in any case. When I calibrate for a home theater, I calibrate at reference volume. So when I demo a movie to a client, I put it on 0 and that is reference volume. When I watch a movie, I must be honest, I can't maintain that level for a long period of time. So I would like listen -2, just a bit down, or -5 if the movie was recorded at a very high output. But okay, so for my testing, I normally do my music -15, -10 at a max, because music for me is a bit louder. Movies, I'll go 0. I tested this -15 and it stays epic. -10 is about the max that the SPL got. After that, you can see the woofer moving, but the sound doesn't become more. The bass sort of stays linear. That for me is not a problem. I can see that some people will mention it, but it's not a problem for me, and I doubt it's going to be a problem for 98% of you out there. But like I say, with all of these things, always audition. Come to a place like mine, come and listen, so you can experience these things in the real world. I will do some demos shortly. I did notice the same thing on the 15. So it's something that a sealed sub does. So they had to sort of get to the point where this can do both worlds. It can do music and it can do movies, which very little subs can, and especially at this price point. This thing performs, to my ears, performs like a sub that costs twice the money. It seriously does. And I will stand firm with my points on the 15, same with the 12. Show me the sub for this money that can outclass this. There's nothing. If I should think off the top of my head, at this price, SVS PB2000 Pro, but it's not this price. That is another 6 South African grand, so $500 in US, more expensive. So you would actually sort of need to go PB1000 Pro, but that again is not fair, because then this is $500 more expensive than that. So it fits in between those two subs. But having had both those, I can tell you that they don't do music like this. Movies, yes. Movies, the SVS will outclass this in how low it can go, but you're sacrificing punch. SVS doesn't punch. You will watch a movie. And how I always try and explain this to people, some people, I don't like a boomy bass. So boomy bass is when you're sitting, listening to movies, listening to music or movies, and you'll sort of hear coming into the room, and it sort of drowns out all of your other sound, and I don't like it. I like my bass quick, agile, and to hit low. So let's say you're watching San Andreas, and the earthquake sort of comes in. On a boomy sub, you will hear the earthquake coming, and then it starts sort of shaking the room. On quality subs, SVS and this, you don't hear it. It is subsonic. You just sort of see the earthquake coming, and you'll hear you'll feel the aftershock run through the couches and hit you on the chest, almost like you there, and it's a subsonic. Like, what was the movie Greenland, where the was it an earthquake or whatever, where it hits, or what was it? It was a meteor. It was a meteor, and the sonic wave hits and it comes through. I shat myself, I promise you. It was like you see the aftershock, and then the sound comes, and it hits you. That is what this does. It just hits you, gets you by surprise, like, what was that? And you need to like rewind and watch it again. It's epic. So either of the subs, SVS, Velodyne. I know we're talking about Velodyne, but you can't go wrong with those. Just know what you want to do. This will do music and movies. The SVS will do movies and not as much music. Did I cover all the bases? Yes, I still don't like the plate amp, but it performs optimally. The DSP in these subs are brilliant. SVS also incorporates DSP in their subs, so you'll also get to a certain level and it will start to level out. The amplifier protects the subwoofer, so it doesn't cause damage. So you can't really damage these subs if you try, which in my opinion is brilliant. It's an expensive subwoofer. It's a higher end. It's not close to any of these two brands' flagships. This is still scratching the bottom of what they can do, but it is the best seller. It's where people go. So you want to protect the end user from being a total idiot, trying to show off to his friends, just as you would with a supercar, and you put limiters in on places so they don't destroy their kits and then come back to the manufacturer. You sold me a piece of crap, it blew up. It's safety. So I'm going to do some tests now. I don't think this music will be flagged because it's not really, they didn't flag me on the 15. I'll just do a bit. If it does get flagged, guys, sorry, I'm going to have to cut it, and I'll just show you the woofer moving. Okay, so let's get to that. So I'm going to point the camera down. There we go. So you can see the size difference. Let me just move this stand out the way. You can see the size difference between the 15 and the 12. The 15 is much bigger. The 12 is it's still a compact 15, but the 12 is very compact. And if you don't have a lot of space, go for the 12. Go for 2. 1 is good, but always try and go for 2. If you can go for 2 15s, man, 2 15s, ridiculously good. Okay, so let's pop into this. I'm going to play the same demo as I did on the 15. So we are starting off at volume minus 50. Come across. So I'm gonna up to 10, minus 10. Gotta go a bit more, minus 5. So that is about as far as my ears can go. What I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to up this to reference volume 0. Just so you can see, you'll hear the speaker starting to go louder than the sub, just because it gets to that DSP level. So let's go up to that now. Here we go. Guys, you cannot go wrong with these subs. I'm being honest, these things are so good. You do get, I don't know if you guys could experience what I said, where you get to the volume where it sort of starts to level out. I also think my room is very big, because when I sat here on the couch, you can feel that force. This thing pumps. And another thing, if you guys have encountered with sealed subs, when they start reaching that limit and there's no DSP, you hear it like it's as if it's hitting something in the cabinet. This doesn't. The sub just keeps moving more, because you can see this is a beast of a sub. Properly built cabinets with a crappy sticker on the front. But anyways, it doesn't start to vibrate, it doesn't start to resonate, it doesn't rattle. I can't praise these subs enough. So the guys that sort of gave them a bad review, listen, everyone's ears are different. Let me just move this up again. Everyone's ears are different. That's why I say audition. You might like a sound that I don't like, and I might like a sound that you don't like. But for the guys that say this is a bad sub, I would seriously say go and test your hearing, because this is a brilliant sub. Both brands, this and SVS, you cannot go wrong. I'm not even mentioning M&K because it's in a completely different price range, and that is more leans towards movies. I'm talking about subs now that you can use for music and movies, and at the moment for both of those, this is my go-to sub. Guys, take away from this what you want. I hope that you learn something about this on subwoofers, but always audition your stuff. If you want to see more stuff, please guys, comment, tell me what you want to see. I listen, I'll go and get it, I'll review it, unbox it, whatever you want me to do. Till next time, cheers.